Hello there, guys. This is Libby, otherwise known as Silverleaf, and um, I'm first of all, I just want to apologize for being gone for a couple of weeks. Um, Work has been crazy. We had somebody out on workman's comp, and then two people quit, so there has been no time. Um, yeah, and the heat has been killing me. It's very hot up in my craft space, so yeah, I apologize for that, but I'm back. Today I want to do something that will go in the travel journal we've been making. Um, as sort of like an additional piece. And that is going to be hidden paperclip tabs. I made a bunch of them the other night because I needed to craft, but I didn't really have time or energy to get up here. So I just did it in my free time on the sofa, which I can't really film. So here are the ones that I already did. I didn't decorate them or anything. I just made them. So the idea is they've got a paper clip inside, and then you can, as I had them at the start, you can lock them onto a page, and then I'm sure on the inside of a page, they stick out as tabs. Now I'm not sure how high I want the tabs. These are pretty chunky for the size of the journal that we're making, but where you glue the extra piece that has the paperclip attached, that'll decide how much of a tab you get. So I don't mind the height of the height of it though, because I can add like a little eyelet or something. We can do a dangle off it. But yeah, so they're the ones I made, and they end up at 2-ish by 3-ish. Yeah. So I did these ones with fun paper from some of my books that I have. They're more mystical, more whimsy. I love them, but I don't think they fit the travel journal. So we're going to be making some from scratch using. Sorry, this just held all of my the ones I've made. Yeah, so we're going to use some dark. Well, that one's not so dark. That one's for my fun. Some darker papers. I'm going to stamp on them, collage on them, that sort of thing. And then for a base, I'm going to use scrapbook paper that's less loved. I didn't pick this one out. This one was a gift, and I some of it I'll use, but some of it I really want like this. I'm not going to use that in my everyday life. Yeah, so I'm just going to pull some paper out of here. And it's done. You basically make 2 layers. One which is the size that you ultimately want it to be. So in this case, a 2x6 piece because you're folding it over. And then the bit on the inside needs to be smaller than that. It just needs to be large enough to hold whatever size your paperclip is. I have a couple of different sizes. I have some really big metal paper clips. I have some smaller ones. I tend to use these smaller ones. Yeah. So this is going to be my outer layer that we're going to decorate. This is going to be both the inner layer and the outer layer that this is going to end up on top of, because you need it sturdy. You don't want flimsy paper. This is kind of flimsy, so doubling it up with this will help. It doesn't need to be double-sided or anything because you're folding it over, so you're not going to see it anyway. I don't want that piece of paper. Actually, that's a piece of paper that I will use. Where were the hearts? Not this one, actually. It's just full of sentiments. I'm not going to use that. Alright. So to start off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this down. So if I want 6, so I'm just going to make it into 6x6s, and then I'll cut it down from there. So I will be right back. Okay, I had to fandangle my cutting machine for a second. The base that the blade goes into was up and I didn't realise. Yes, so that's why this is awkward. Yeah, so I have my 6x6, and then out of this I can get three, 3 out of each square. So I'm going to quickly just trim these down too, so that they are 2-inch wide. All right, so now I have these. It doesn't matter if the pattern is correct on this because we're going to cover it. With these ones though, I covered the piece of paper first in the type of pattern paper that I wanted, and then cut it. But I want to do mini collages on these, so I'm not too worried about that. Yeah, so now we want the inner piece. So that's the outer. And I'm going to use this thicker paper for that. I should have grabbed another piece of... Oh, wait, I do have another piece of scrapbook paper. What am I on about? 1 second. Another piece of scrapbook paper. I think you could get away with using thinner paper for the inside bit, but I don't want it to tear or anything. But the inside paper, it really doesn't matter what it is, you're not going to see it. If you're worried about potentially seeing it, just use the inside part. Okay. So then these, we want to be small. You want it just to be big enough that you can put, when it's folded, you can put your paper clip on it. So I'd say maybe 1 inch. Maybe do 1 inch by maybe 3 inches. Would that be enough? 1.5. Because you also want to make sure, because this is going to end up, what, 3 inch? You want to make sure you have space for that tab at the top. Yeah, so I'm going to see if I can do 3 inch tall. That should fit this. So I'm going to do 1 inch by 3 inch. I just need enough for how many of these I have. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12. So I need to do 12 of them. I'll be right back once I get that done. Okay, so here's my 12 pieces. And the nice thing is, I literally just had to use a 3-inch strip, so I have this whole extra piece of paper to use at some point, whether for more of this or another project. So, yeah. And I'm just going to quickly show you with one, and I'll still decorate it after the fact, but, so you're going to fold your paper in half. You can score it, you can just fold it, doesn't matter. You're going to pop your paper clip on this part, and yeah, that was just about the right length. You don't really want this sticking out. And then what you do is you take the piece. Now this next part depends on how big of a tab, if you even want a tab, actually. If you don't want a tab, you'll stick this up at the very top where that fold is, and you'll just glue it down. And then when you put it on, it'll go through this part because of where the glue is. I think actually I might have done this a little wrong because it might be easier. I'm gonna sacrifice this guy to test. It might be easier if your underneath paper comes down further to hook it on. I'm just gonna test that real fast. I wasn't thinking about that. Come on. I know I haven't used you in a little while, mate, but yeah, we're just gonna quickly test it. But how far up you place this will depend on how much of a tab. So if you do it like more here-ish, then this extra space here is your tab. So I'm just going to stick that down. And then you stick this down. I can still decorate it. It's just not going to be able to be like a stamped thing, which is fine. I just want to make sure that I'm not doing this completely wrong. It's been a few days since I did those others. And this will be thicker anyway by virtue of the fact that we're going to be building up on top of it. Okay, so then let me just grab a piece of paper. Are you going to easily find that hole, or are you not going to easily find that hole? I'm going to take that as a knot. Oh wait, I'm wrong. Never mind me. No, that works. So then, I didn't let it dry fully, but you can see. So it might be easier if you have that more the width, but it still works. So I don't care, I'm doing it this way. Wastes less paper and it still works. Okay, so these pieces we don't have to do anything to, they're not going to be seen. These pieces are what we want to decorate. So it depends on what you have, what style you're going for. You know, the end result. If you want to do your own stamping, that's why I have these blank sheets, well, coloured but blank sheets for stamping. But then I also have a bunch of book page and stuff that we can cover with, and then we can build up with stickers and washi and stamps, whatever. I do have some new fun bits and pieces to play with too. Let me just grab that. I ordered from this place. I got it from their Etsy page, Athena Books. It was the only good. I've ordered a couple of things lately off Etsy, and that's the only one that came that I was like, yeah, this is exactly what I ordered. I won't get into that right now, but yeah, so it's got, I love these, look. It's just a thing of ducks. Isn't that cool? Well, these are geese. I think this is similar, but I think it's chickens. I don't think these work for what I'm trying to go for, but, you know, yeah. I basically ordered some book pages and stuff, but there's some map in here that I want to use. These are cool. Old paintings. Could use one of these. I don't want to use this one because this is absolutely gorgeous and I kind of just want to hold it, like, forever. Like, really old. When's it from? I don't know. I could find out. But, like, a really old one. It feels really old. I don't know how old it is. I don't know. But it's gorgeous. Can I see? 1946. Around the time that our good friend Ernest was pottering around. Yeah, I love it. It's going to take a lot to get me to use that, but I'm glad that I have it. Where's the bit that I was actually looking for? We have some more postcard bits, which I'm excited to use. Some really nice old paper, which I think I will use for this. Love this Golden Book. It's a magazine. Anyway, these are what I was looking for. Just some atlas pages. Well, I don't think it's atlas. I think it's just history. I think it's the same area, just over the years. But we can use one or two of those too. Anyway, sorry. That was a complete tangent. I do want to use some of this. I don't really have paper like this that is this aged. It's very brittle, so I don't think I'm going to be folding it over. So I might need to do something else in the background, then just use parts of that. But, okay, so I definitely want one or two with this blue. And what I'm going to do, I'm not going to glue onto this side. I'm going to glue onto this side. That can be the interior. Just in case anything starts showing through. I don't want the words showing through. So then I'm just going to use my glue stick. Yep, that's how I had to think for a second there. Even though I just said what the plan was, my brain went, wait. Usually I'm trying to keep the white side so that I can write on it. But I'm going to try and get it up as close to that corner as I can. Well, close to the edge, I mean. That's why I'm using my glue stick. That way I have to trim less. So I'm going to do 2 with this nice blue. I have, here's my blue, yeah. I have a green too that I want to use. And then the others, I think I will do with book pages and that sort of thing. I'll get out my older ephemera that I very rarely touch. I'm going to leave a little gap between these just to make it easier for me to see where I'm cutting. And then just in case it ends up not a straight cut, it won't matter as much. Okay, so that's those. Do I want to risk trying to fold this? Yes. I want the edge. I actually do want the edge. I know some people don't like it when they have the blank paper showing, but I think that's the best part of this. The colour of it, at least. It's gorgeous. So, Libby, when are you going to learn to use a glue page? Never. Evidently, the answer is never. Okay. So then we're just going to pop this down. Again, I'm going to butt mine up against the edge. If you have this kind of paper that has the border, like a visual border, you could always just use that border as your line-up point, but doesn't bother me. I'm going to do a second one, but I'm going to put it in this down corner because this top one has been ripped. I'm just going to grab a piece of printer paper. Usually I'd use a piece of poorly printed paper, you know, since it's come out the printer wrong, but I don't have it to hand right now. I really need to just like make a spot to keep it in. Okay, so as I say, I'm going to do this on the bottom corner. This is a cool book. It's about Versailles, and some of the pages of it actually have pictures. I don't have the full book, I just have a section of it, which is what I was looking for. I didn't want full books, I just wanted, you know, a little bit. Yeah, this one's actually going to say it, A Week at Versailles. Yeah, it's really cool. Do I have the picture pages in this part? Yeah, look at this. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, love it. Excited to use it. Okay. That gives us 4, and I will do one more using wherever my green paper went. There. And these I'll still build up on, I'll still collage on top of. As I say, I might stamp or use postage stamps. I hate that those two words are pretty much the same. Stamp and stamp. You can use both types of stamps. Come here. This has a tear from my dog. He stepped on my papers when I had them on the couch, to be fair. It was my own fault. He just wanted to get close. He's very much a Velcro dog. If I let him in this room right now, he'd be right up on my arm trying to get attention. It's fine ordinarily, but not when you're trying to film. So for this part, I don't think it matters the kind of glue you use, but when you're gluing down the piece that has the paper clips, it does matter because you want a sturdy glue, you don't want it coming off. I use my art glitter glue for that. Okay, so we have 2 with this nice green, 2 with this nice blue, and then 2 with the book page. this? I lost my good knife, and I'm very annoyed about it. Then these guys, if I get to them today, I'll just collage on them. Yeah, I lost my good knife, so I have my X-Acto right now, but it is not my favorite at all. But oh well, you make do with what you've got, right? So I'm going to trim it. It might end up a tiny bit smaller than the original size that I said, which is why I said 6-ish and 3-ish. It doesn't matter. I'm not using exact sizes because I'm just going to fold it in half. Come on. Yeah, I don't like X-Acto blades. I find they just don't cut as well. Maybe I'm just using them wrong, which is always possible. But either way, I don't like them. But it's what I've got, so. I might go to my hardware store later and grab myself a new. I like utility knives. So how's everybody been? I'm sorry, as I say, that I've been gone. I haven't. It's not like I can't physically work a full work week. I can't do a 40-hour shift, 40-hour work week. I can't do 8-hour shifts. Maybe every once in a blue moon, you know, I'll do a full shift, but my health doesn't allow it ordinarily. So I haven't. It's not like I've been doing 40-hour, 50-hour, 60-hour shifts. Some of my colleagues have. But I've been doing more than my body can usually handle. So by the time I'm getting home at night, it hasn't been possible for me to get up here. We had to move our bedroom down into the living room. We did that at the start of this year. Because there's times where even just with my regular life, I can't get up and down the stairs. Which sucks that my craft room is up here, but if I'm not well enough to get up the stairs, chances are I'm not well enough to craft. So yeah, so getting home after my longer shifts is just, you know, I'm gonna go to bed kind of thing, which is what I have been doing. I get home and I go to sleep. And it doesn't look like it's going to improve anytime soon. We have 4 people to cover a full 7 days worth of work. And they're not just a 9 to 5 shift. You know, you've got people in at 5 a.m. because we're baking. You've got people staying late. So, all right, so that's 2. I'll ink up this edge just to make sure that it's not so messy, but I'll wait until we're done for that. Actually, I'll ink it first because if I'm putting layers on top, I don't want that white to show. Yep. All right, so it's 2. Yeah, but I'm gonna try, even though I'm struggling with life outside of work, I'm gonna try and come back to crafting because I miss it. It's like my happy place. You know, I've been so busy and I feel really bad about this. I still haven't sent out Mum's journal. I can't find my scale. I have a scale that I use because I do the forms online for customs and stuff. And I've been so dead that I just haven't been able to track down where that scale is that I use in order to weigh it and send it out. So thankfully, my mum is very understanding. But yeah, that's still on my agenda. Alright. Those are some nice pieces. I'm going to keep these. I might even see about layering them onto the other paper. Alright. So there's one. There's two. I love that we got the words on. I'm going to quickly ink around all of these. Oh, I have one more set to do. Yeah, but once I'm done with this set, I'm going to ink around all of them. I might even, and I never use my vintage photo, I might use my vintage photo for this one. It's not my kind of colour. I got it because it was like in a bundle with, it came with my black and my, what are you called? Sorry. Walnut stain. My walnut stain's the one I use the most. Yeah, it came in a set with those, but this might be the day to use the vintage photo. But yeah, I hope everyone's doing alright. There's been like heat waves all across the world. Well, at least, you know, America, Europe. Places where it's summer and not winter, I suppose. What, the Northern Hemisphere? I hope everyone's okay. We had a few really rough days. It's not so bad now though, thankfully. I mean, it is up here in my craft room. I need to get a fan for the window, but there was a few days at work where it genuinely felt like, you know what, it doesn't matter if that's over a little bit, because it's, I don't want this side, I want this side, so I'm not going to worry about that. Did I do the tops and bottoms? Yeah. Yeah, there were a few days at work where it felt like they hadn't even put the AC on. And I'm pretty sure that's just because we're in the bakery, so we have the oven going, but not fun. Alright, so those are for stamping, those are for stamping, this is for collaging. I'm still going to collage on top of this, but I want to stamp the base. I'm going to do a walnut stain for those, and then I need to grab, 1 second, sorry. If I can find it. This is my little box of ink. This is all my ink in the world other than this. That does not belong. I have some that I haven't even opened yet. That again came in packs. There it is. See, bottom of the barrel. I might have used it once. Yeah, the Distress Oxides, I tend to buy them in bulk. Well, not in bulk, but like there'll be a set of like 4 of them. And really I want 3 of the colours, and then I get one that I just don't open. I'll probably end up using them. But as of right now. I need to get... I was going to say I need to get more of the bases. I have them. I just need to get them out. Okay. Test it on here. Yep. Sometimes these come to me dry. And that bothers me. Yeah, so I'm just going to get rid of the core of the paper before I start on anything else. Because if it's not all the way up to the edge when I start adding, it's going to make it hard to ink those edges. You'll end up seeing like a line. Oops, did not mean to do that, but that's fine. Now, one thing to consider with this is half of your paper is going to be upside down. So like with this book page, I want to make sure that this is the right side up where it says the week of Versailles. And I want to make sure that this is the right side up, the town and castle. Which means this is going to have to be one that's meant more for the bottom or for the side, as opposed to the top. What about you? You can be the top or the side. All right, that's just what I need to keep in mind. Probably shouldn't have folded that right now, but that's fine. Yeah, I don't mind the vintage photo actually. I just made a whole song and dance about how I don't like it, but I think it's just a bit too yellowy for me. Okay, and then use walnut. If I'm a little discombobulated, it's weird coming back to filming after a few weeks. Oh, you know what I should have done before I inked was round these corners. No, it's fine. I'll round them at the end once I've got everything on. And then I'll just re-ink the corners. That's fine. But yeah, so I can't really manipulate it with these. But with these, I can, you know, do half of it one way, half of it the other. Because I'm going to be doing it myself. So I can basically make it so that both sides are upright. That's what I was trying to say. Come here. These are the only types of hidden paper clips I've ever done. People do them in like weird, wacky ways. Some people do them and they're not even hidden. They're more like altered. But I don't actually like the look of paper clips, so I would much rather hide them. Although knowing that this way, like this little amount of paper works, will be fun because it means I can do some really small ones. Okay, I'm just going to pause a second so I can grab what I need. So I may have gone a little overboard with the things I pulled out, but that's okay. I have just some splatter marking stamps that I'm going to use. Some map that was left over from the cover. This is from a book spine. I thought this could be really cool. It has some texture and then some of the brown paper. What was this called? Remnants? Nope. I can't think what this was called. This was the Seven Plaza kit, one of the newer ones. Printed on sticker paper. There's some Tim Holtz tickets. I'm not sure if I'll use them, but I have them. My box of fodder. One little sticker label. Postage stamps. Little bits and pieces from Tim Holtz. And then somewhere around here, I have some actual ticket pieces. If I can find them, I will use them. But do I remember where I put them now? No. That would be way too easy. I need to do another deep clean of my craft room, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, so I'll probably just end up reaching for the Tim Holtz ones then instead. Given that I can't find the legitimate ones. But I got a nice grab bag of a bunch of them. Yeah, I don't know where I put it. Oh well. I have plenty to be going on with. Oh, and then, yeah, I grabbed this for stamping. I don't think we're going to do any other stamps. I mean, I could grab my Tim Holtz stamps. Yeah, 1 second. I always forget to reach for these because they're not with my other stamps. I keep them in a separate little folder. But I have Curator, but I don't really use these. I tend to just stamp a whole sheet and then cut them out, which I do have somewhere. May reach for those too. You are not Tim Holtz. They mustn't have fit in my binder. I have Eccentric and I have Field Notes. So I will probably make use of these. I might make use of that. Oh no, there's too many options. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed, but I'm going to start with these splattery stamps, at least on These guys may be on that one. That requires me to have a block. Oh, everything's nowhere. 1 second. Okay, there we go. I have my favourite splatter. These are the ones which I've only used a couple of times, but since I got this one with a set, I don't really bother with those. Got a bigger one in case I use those tickets. Okay, I need a sheet of paper. I need to stop reaching for my good quality paper. Oh. One more time's not going to hurt. And I'm just going to lay these out and just stamp over them willy-nilly. I'm not too worried. I'll start with this, and I will use my walnut stain because this is dark paper. I want to just make sure it's actually going to show up first. If not, I will probably move over to black. Although I don't like black. No, that works. I don't like black for the background stamps, to be honest with you. Because it doesn't look real. Can you guys even see that? Probably not. I might have gone too dark with my base paper. But that happens. I prefer the darker paper for this kind of project, at least. I don't like it when it's super saturated. I say that, but then I did pull out that orange. But orange is allowed, because that's my favourite colour. Alright. So if you can see, we've just got some basic splatters in the background. I say this is going to be built up. I'm going to end up collaging little pieces on there and stuff. For the ticket, though, I will use black, and I just had my archival, so it should be on hand somewhere. They're not all going to have the ticket stamps. Oh, do I even want this? I keep forgetting I pulled out my Tim Holtz. What the heck? Oh, it's on the floor. Red, no, black. Yes. It's not my archival ink, but it'll work. Okay. I say these are just going to be background stamps. Oh, this I haven't used yet. Do I even have a block big enough? Yep, if I do it sideways, I do. I'm fine with that. No. Am I over here dropping things? Yes. I'm going to let this be a first gen stamp. Usually I'll do it as a second gen. But because this paper's so dark, I actually think it might need it to be this dark. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Oh, that's crooked. But you know what? Looks good, so I don't really care. Try that again. Okay. Cool. Let me just stamp that off real fast. Yeah, even the second gens of this one's awesome. I mean, it helps that I'm using VersaFine. I always forget to reach for my stamps. I'm not going to lie. And I don't know why. I just do. I want this 3. Stickers, no. Stickers I always have on hand. I think it's because it takes just a little bit extra work to do the stamping. I keep them in a different spot to everything else. Okay, so this is going to be my front, which means anything I do on this side, I want to flip it over for. Do I want another 3? Yeah, I might do, but there it is. But I am going to flip it on this one. So instead of being this way, I'm going to put it over here. So it's looking so far. Let's say I'm going to add some little bits and pieces on top too. I like the way that this piece of paper is starting to look underneath. Come on. Thank you. Some of these blocks I don't take the stamp off. Oh, wrong way around. Like this one. I never take the stamp off, so I'm like working around it. Probably not the best idea, but I don't actually remember where that goes anymore. Cool, cool, cool. I'll pop you there. Calm down, Quinny boy. Everything's okay. You can hear whining in the background. That's just my pup. He likes to act hard done to. I need something. Now the middle ones I'm not worried about as much. I might even make them second gen, because in the middle is where I'm likely to put what's the word? Like an actual focus point, if that makes sense. Focal point even, not a focus point. There you go. I like that. How it's a bit more in the background. So do that again. Can't go that way now. Okay. Inside for a minute. Grab these guys. I might use more of the field notes kit for this one. No, I want the flower, I think. And again, I think this one needs to be a second gen stamp. All that means is that you don't use it when you smash it off first. Smash it off. You stamp it off first, and then you add it onto what you're doing. It makes it less crisp. I just did that as a first gen, but that's fine. Okay. I love the little bird one too. If I do the label, do I want that in black as well? Yeah, I want the backgrounds of these to be black, so. Oh, hello. Smudged in the middle. Looks like a fingerprint. That might even be my finger. It's not, but let me just get that off a second. I must have pressed too hard. Okay. And this one I want it half off the page. Okay. Making a mess. My poor fingers are covered in ink. I'll do 10 day or night. Yeah, sure. Why not? Can you get up? Okay. This one I'll let be a first gen stamp. What's that? And this one I'm going to let it be partly on, partly off. Cool. Is it straight? No. Does it matter? Nope. I want something simple in these background bits. And I might like do this field label, but like really make sure it's not a lot. So I'm not like fully pressing down on this one, And I'm going to quickly stamp it and then stamp over. This way. Cool. All right. I'm not going to use the tickets. I don't want to. You know what? That's the only reason that I need to give. Okay. And then I have this, and I have some of the stickers. And I really want to use some of this. I'm not sure if it's going to be better suited to these guys or not. Which reminds me, I forgot to do my splatter stamp on these ones. I mean, it's practically the same colour as the paper, so it doesn't make much of a difference, but ooh, making a mess, making a mess. My table is a mess. Oh, and I grabbed a wildlife book too. I thought I might fussy cut. Might. Okay. Do I want some of this paper too. This is probably going to be better off on these ones. And then scissors. I apologize for how messy the workspace is right now. I have this stuff, like I could just grab my own, but I like that this has the dried glue on it and whatnot, so, you know. We don't want it on the fold. I'm just going to fold it real fast, just so I know. I did that underneath. And then a postage stamp on top of that. I think I'm going to focus on one of each colour. So that guy, because I already have the green, and then this guy. And I'll do the others off camera. Just because I'm realising I have this side to do, plus the back. So that still gives me 6 things to focus on. Want a splash of blue on there. I actually kind of like the blue on there. There's something down here. I can build up something else. Just a little piece of music sheet. And I want that up there, so it's going to have to come down. I'm just going to need a little something, but I'm not sure what. I might even let myself use a sticker or two. Okay. So I'm happy with that. I'm just going to quickly fold these ones. I'm nervous about this guy cracking. It shouldn't be so bad because it's glued onto something, but you use a little bit of this stuff too. since I have it. Or didn't need to cut it like that, Liv. You could have just trimmed it off. I'll still use those pieces, it's fine. This one doesn't need as much on the lower half because of that big 3. Yes. I like to glue things from the top down once I've decided how I want them. I know people like to do from the bottom up, but I find I have more control over the finished piece when I do it like this instead. Did I want to? Just enough to stick some of this on. Yeah, a little bit further over. Sorry, I'm sat back from my desk for some reason right now. I'll bring myself forward in a second. Yep. I'm going to try and keep my glue just on the brown paper and not on the mesh. Okay. Because the mesh should stay down just with that brown paper. Love that. And just this little guy. Let's say, I think I might let myself add a sticker. Oh, hello. Or something similar down here. There's one. You get to go on last just because you're a sticker. Doesn't want to stick right now, the mesh. I think it'll be fine in the end. Move over. Move over. Thank you. This one, I don't know if you can tell, I'm letting the strings hang off the edge. I don't think I put this in the spot that I intended it to, but it's fine. And then not my favorite, but I'll put something in the middle of the label part and it'll be fine. To you. Yeah, cracked. Okay. Can use some tape. I kind of knew it was going to crack though, so it's fine. So this side here is going to be the top. That side's going to be, yeah, so it's going to be a this side up kind of thing. A bit big. Or even bigger. I did want some orange, so maybe I'll do some orange. Any point in using that on that? Maybe not. Unless I put you over top. Yep. Come here. Yeah, I'm going to let that one be a bit more central. Because I don't really want to be covering up the town and castle. Okay, on the bottom, do I want to use some tape? I just had it. I actually have some 7 Plaza tape here. I don't reach for it often enough because it's never in eyesight. And I'm a little ADHD, so if it's not where I can see it, forget about it. Come on, Lib. Please. Why am I struggling with the tape today? There we go. So I'm just going to pop it here, and then I'm going to, because the top is where it's open, not the bottom. I'm just going to fold it over. There we go. Very nice. Okay. Probably put my lid back on my glue. That'd be good. Kind of want another stamp up on top here. Green. Where did I put my stamps? You know what? We can just make it one of these guys. I need to learn how to be less messy in my craft space. But I'm probably not the only person that feels that way, so, you know. Like that. It sort of pulls the stamp down. Okay, where's my other 2 gone? Here. Okay. I might end up adding a little bit more. I definitely want to add something to the middle of this, but for right now, I'm going to focus on the flip side. Which, if I did it right, which I did, you see these are now the right way up on both sides. This one isn't, but I can cover it. I might even use the map to cover that. I'm going to use this lower bit because it has more of that sandy colour. Which I think will match in nicely with the butt. Oh, hold on. Oh yeah, sorry. That way, Lip. Do I have a small ticket in here? I wish I knew where my other tickets were, like my legitimate tickets. I have orange on the other side, so maybe this red won't look too out of place. Ooh, which side do I want? This side, I think. And I may even let that ticket be off kilter. I don't need another postage stamp because I already have one of those. Ooh, I like the back side of this a bit more. It's got a bit of a rough texture to it. Do I want it off kilter or I want it up and down? Libby, you're doing it the wrong way again. That's upside. There we go. How do I keep doing that? I don't know. I keep moving it. There's kind of no point in having the map if I'm going to put this brown paper on. Once I took it up at the top. I'm realizing that I don't know how to keep time because I'm almost way over. Well, I am already over. I'm over time. That's crazy, Liv. You haven't even finished putting them together yet. Pop you off to the left. Smidgery of view. I don't really mind where I'm putting this right now. I think it's going to look good either way. Okay. And pop you there. Maybe stamp something along that edge. But I like that. I like this one because it's simpler than the others. Because the background makes it so I don't need as much. Alright. That's you. You did not have a postage stamp on the front, so you may have one on the back. What are you? Yep. Again, I don't really need a whole lot with these. Oh, I like that thin piece. I will try and make sure I'm taking less time next time. It's just been a while, so I've forgotten to keep to a timer, I guess. I don't know how some people can do it really fast, and I know other people will like constantly stop and start and edit. I'm not an editor. I don't really tend to edit my stuff. Maybe I should. I personally don't mind watching long videos. The longer the video, the better for me, but I know that's not the case for everyone, so. Okay, that's better. That's what I was going for. I wanted a little bit more of that white off. And I am going to add just a drop of glue there for that one piece. This still needs something. I'm not sure what. Greens. Greens. I think I want that piece. And then this little edge. Wish it was a fussy cutter. I'd cut this circle out. I don't think I have a punch the right size either. Come on, lid. Like a large section of this video is going to be me grappling with the edges of stick-up sheets. Come on. I didn't even get it. I got the layer under it. Like I split the paper sheet. My coordination is nowhere right now. Come on, please. 1 second, because this is getting ridiculous. Sorry about that, I'm back. I finished them up real fast. We just have to attach the paper clips. So this is how the book page 1 came out. You can still see the town and castle, and the back has the ticket, which I like. We have the green one, which I added a little butterfly on the back of, and then the sticker pieces that I mentioned. I might stamp something on that, I'm not sure. And then the blue one, which I added a little mushroom from Tim Holtz on the frame, and then the back's just the same. Okay, so for these core bits, we're just going to fold the paper in half. Now what I want to do is I'm going to round the corners of the these guys. Oh, I just had, there it is. I did just have that. I'm going to use my medium 7mm setting. I think the other one is a bit too big for the size of this project, and I don't want it tiny, so I'm just going to go all the way around. Thankfully my punch is good enough that it can go through a couple of layers of paper and scrapbook paper. And then before I glue these in, I'm going to ink just those rounded corners. Whatever I've got on here is what I'm using. I don't know if it's vintage photo or if it's walnut stain. Why can I never remember the name of that one? Okay, so that's those. These guys, we just slip a brain. Sorry, the heat's getting to my brain and I've had a very long week. Paperclip, that's the word. You don't have to glue this one on, you just slide it on because you're going to glue it down when you put it in here anyway. You don't have to do anything to these, you have to decorate them, nothing. They're not going to be seen. Okay, then you decide how big of a tab you want. I'm thinking just a, not a huge one, but not a tiny one. So, you know, it's up to you, depending on how much space you have to work with. You could just make it so there's none, but I like the tab because it gives it a bit more of a purpose for me. So I'm just putting it like the second layer down on this word. So it's not going to be huge, but it is going to stick out. Okay, so you stick that one in the middle, and then you add more glue over the top. Make sure you don't put any glue on the sides. you only want the glue on this paper that has the paperclip on. Otherwise, you're closing it up and then you can't use it. Give it a nice press, make sure it's all secure. And rinse and repeat. That one came up. Give me a second and I will squish that back down. Stay. Yeah, it's very hot up here. So hot that my art glitter glue is drying in the nib. There we go. Come on, I want a decent amount of glue. Thanks. Same deal, about 2 down. It's nice to have this line. You can mark on the inside all you want, so you can figure out how high you want it if you want it a specific amount, but I don't, so. I have so much glue and ink on my fingers. And then I like to add a little bit to the paperclip itself. I don't think you need to, but I don't think it hurts either. I think I originally saw this in a 7 Plaza video, but it's an old one, so I can't find it. If I end up finding it after I post this video, I will link it down below. But she has a lot of videos on her channel. Alright. And I'll take this one just because it's the first one that I did. And we'll use this extra piece that I will eventually make into one of these. And it just slips right on. I want to do it sideways so you can see where it comes to. Oh. Haha. Maybe not, Libby. Come here. Let's try that again. Because you're messing it up. There we go. So this much is what comes off the page. You know, if it's like, put this one on top. That's like it's a page. That much is what's going to show. So you can decorate this specifically. You can add like numbers. You can add an eyelet or something. I like leaving them. I don't think there's any need. If I'm putting it in a book, I'm not actually trying to, you know, I'm not trying to alphabetize or anything. Personally. But if you are, you can add like an A to Z or something on there. But yeah. So that's the 3 I did today. I wanted to do more, but evidently I'm not good at knowing when to cut the camera and pause. Yeah. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Goodbye.